another fantastic week. Cory's having a little bit of a rough week, as we saw the weekend. But it's another Thursday here in the evening, and we got another week of NFL football. Cory Sparks joins me. Welcome back, Cory. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm going through it right now. I see you got a little buddy on your left.
I brought in touchdown Jesus over here, Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
That's a young photo. Like he doesn't have the man bun going on. He doesn't have the long hair. That looks like 2011 or 12 maybe.
It's Super Bowl championship. It's got the ring on. 2011.
That's great.
I bet you that was a good year for you.
That was the last time we won a playoff game, Johnny. We beat the Seahawks, and then we played Bears Packers.
Yeah, it's a pretty miserable franchise that you guys got going over there at
horrible.
At the horrible. Bears facility.
You are horrible.
Well, I mean, one playoff win in how many years?
The last 12. Yeah.
12, yeah. Come on. I mean, even
we could be the Lions. We could be the Lions, but we're not.
Oh, don't bring in the Lions.
The Lions look good now, though.
Let's talk about it today. We're back at it for another week. It's going to be a fun week. We want to thank everybody for liking and subscribing. We advise you to like and subscribe if you want to keep up with the newest updates in the NFL and so much more in Cory Sparks. And if you just like hearing Cory and I argue about different things. We do have comment responses this week for our poll on the pancakes and waffles debate, which is a big debate, as many breakfast lovers know. I'm not actually a huge breakfast guy, but I definitely do side with one or the other. You'll hear it later on in the later on in the podcast, but we're gonna have new topics every week, so make sure to stay tuned, and you do that by liking and subscribing the channel. Excuse me. So, Cory, we start with the game.
Oh, the game. The game.
Great. The game. Week 2, Sunday Night Football. We saw Cory Sparks and his Bears blow a tire at Lambeau once again. Nothing out of the ordinary.
I didn't blow a tire. That was my team.
No,
I didn't blow any tires.
Oh, you were blowing a tire watching the game, I'm sure.
I was the blown tire.
You know, the Bears are the wet sock of the NFC North. They can't seem to get anything going.
What do you mean by that?
It's just like sock. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's annoying. It's just been like the little brother that pulls at your ankle and just tries to kick you in the ankle, but can't manage to actually knock you down. The big brother, the Green Bay Packers, and Mr. Aaron Rodgers still owns them, baby. And Cory can be as mad as he wants, but I feel like he's had a rough little week going, especially after that video I released.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Following the big one. That was ridiculous.
The fact you drive over to Lambeau Field, if you folks haven't seen it.
On my way to work.
Oh, yeah. It's just, I'm sure you took a little excursion over there and just go, oh, I smell something outside of Lambeau Field. And you said one person actually thought there was something wrong with Lambeau Field, like there were fumes coming out of it. So you had one soul worried.
I did have one caution soul, but I advised them to watch the whole thing, make sure that it was a joke, and I said it was a smell of victory again, because again, there's more. Another Bear loss and a Packer win. When's it gonna end?
It ended last week, man. It ended in week 1. It just took a brief intermission, I guess. But
when is Sparks Bears gonna overcome Green Bay Pack?
I'll probably be a grandparent at that point. I have a question for you about that game, since we're starting with this.
Go ahead. Let's bring it up. Oh, we got to mention the score first, I think.
Yeah.
We should mention
27-10.
Just in case. 27-10. Packers won. Big victory.
You were close.
And
what did you say? 28-14? You were pretty close.
I was close, but I can't remember. It was somewhere in that ballpark because we didn't have any field goals in it. I remember we talked about.
Yeah, I think you had 28-14. I said 20. I said a 3-point game in favor of the Bears, so that's completely gone. But the question for you...
It's garbage. That's absolutely...
It was third or fourth quarter. I think it was fourth quarter. Goal line. Field stretches over. He's in a pile. Do you think he broke the plane? They reviewed it and said he didn't. No, not at all.
Absolutely not.
You see all the...
Absolutely not.
Have you seen the pictures of the ball circled where it's clearly, going over the line? It's a little hard to see.
Is that the ball or is that an arm? How can we tell that?
How is his arm under his wristband? It's like... Or not his wristband, but it's like sweatband or whatever that he's got right here. It was cradling it. Huh?
Would it have mattered?
It wouldn't have mattered, no, but I think it was a score, and I think people were saying in 31 others.
I think it's a dumb call that you're running a QB sneak.
That's fair.
Out of the shotgun.
That's fair.
On the 1 yard line.
Yeah, don't run out of shotgun, but that doesn't change the fact he broke the plane. You know what I mean? They should have never done it. Put your 6'2", 225-pound quarterback.
And he missed his
right
cut
under.
lane. If you watch that play back, he had a cut lane over to his right, but he went left.
I mean, it was in general, he shouldn't be out of shotgun, right? But they're bringing like 9-10 people. Like everyone knew what was going to happen. He's going to go up the middle.
You're going to bring the house. You're the Green Bay Pack. You got to protect this house.
Right. I still think it was a touchdown. I don't know.
I don't think it was.
I think in another stadium, it's a touchdown. Doesn't even have to be Soldier Field. It could be neutral grounds. It could be Ford Field. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, he scored. Because it's Lambeau, you guys have the 12th man in the zebra print.
We're the 12th man?
The 12th man's in the zebra print. You know, the refs.
Gotcha.
They're helping you out.
Oh, wow. Going after the refs, that's pretty low.
I think it's valid. I think it's valid.
I think it is. You guys aren't a competitive team.
We'll get better. We'll get better. We're spending 60. What did they put? They put a real good graphic on there. $63 million we're spending on players we no longer own. So that's nice. We're paying off max contracts still.
I mean, you know, the Bears are always going to be the little brother. It's a bigger city, but the little brother of the great Green Bay Packers.
What happens when A-Rod's gone?
Just get another.
It's not Jordan Love. It can't be Jordan Love.
Dump and change. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm not worried about it. We got a couple years yet.
A couple? He could retire tomorrow, and I wouldn't be shocked. If A-Rod just picked up, said, you know what? I'm done.
Oh, he's going to stick around for another couple years. Got plenty of time. Plenty of time.
We'll see.
And you know what? Even if he does retire, our running backs could take over.
Yeah, no, I had a feeling they'd go run heavy, right? And you guys can check episode 2 on that. And I was like, oh, get ready for A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones to just run in like 5 different ways. Credit to LaFleur for drawing up some good plays there. You know, getting the ball to his playmakers. I mean, Jones and Dillon were on the field way more together than they were in the first week. Just giving different looks.
Credit's got to go to the Bears defense for looking like Swiss cheese out there.
They were not bad, considering who we've got out there.
Gotta go after you, Sparks. Gotta go after you.
Aaron Jones had a good day. I'll say that. I mean, A.J. Dillon was averaging like 3.5 a carry, so I feel like he got contained pretty well, but Jones just had his way in the passing game and the running game everywhere. So I'll give you that.
Elite.
Is he a top 10 running back, Jones?
Oh, Jones? 15.
Okay, I respect that. I've got people telling me, like, I've got another group chat where they're just going, oh, no doubt he's top 10. They're naming all these different guys. They're saying he's better than Dalvin. I'm like, I don't think he's there. I think he's solid, but when you've got split reps too, right? I think he plays his role well. I think he's a very good two-way back. So,
you know who I'm going to put him ahead of? You probably don't have it. Zeke. I don't think Zeke's very good.
Zeke's starting to fall off right now. Zeke, yeah, I would say so. I would say he's past him.
Well, Zeke's been falling off for the last however many years.
He had a decent year last year, but yeah, no, I agree. He's slowly declining. You're going to start to see Pollard.
He's got one of the top lines in all the league.
That's true. The DeMarco Murray effect, right? You put him on another team, and what happens?
He should be able to run through there like it's an open field.
That's true.
It's all those.
Yeah, we're seeing him fall off a little bit.
Cory Sparks.
So we got a lot for rapid fire. Is that what we're calling this? I just threw that in there, but like we're basically
we'll just call it rapid fire. You know,
we're gonna run through a lot of things going on around the league right now. Week 3 is here, so it looks like your Packers take on TB12 at 325. What do you think's gonna happen there?
A 3-point victory for the Pack. Done a crunch time. No Mike Evans in the game.
Oh, we'll get to that later. That ticked me off.
That's gonna help a lot. Tom Brady's been acting like a little spoiled brat.
He has been when he wins.
Computers. Oh, because he's got a top 10 D and top 10, offense.
He's got his
never
playmakers.
Gonna deny that fact.
Right. No Gronk this year or anything either. No Antonio Brown. Kind of just reeling people in left and right. People are saying, have you seen Odell? Sorry, I keep getting off topic, but Odell's going to he went to Bucs.
Fine. We're going to be here for a while.
He went to the Bucs now, too. He went over to watch a Bucs game, shook hands with Tom Brady. It's like he's doing college visits.
Did?
Yeah.
You've seen my rants on Odell. I don't need to get into Odell today.
He's doing college visits.
I didn't even have him planned for Odell today because I can't stand Odell.
So you got
the Russell Westbrook of this damn league.
There you go. So you got Packers by 3, Texans, Bears. I think the Bucks win by 7.
Well,
I'll put that
let's
out
have
there.
your take on
Yeah,
that game too.
Bucks by
Let's
7.
have both sides
No Mike Evans needed.
by 7.
Yeah, I think that defense is really going to shut down the passing game, and they've got a pretty good front 7 too. You know what their linebackers can do, what they've done when they made that Super Bowl run. I think they contain Jones and Dillon really well, and that's going to be the key. I mean, can the Packers effectively run the ball? If they can they disguise the run well? They did both against the Bears. I think the Bucks are able to shut the run down. They don't have to disguise anything at that point, and I think the Packers struggle. I think they'll still get a couple touchdowns. I'm sure. I'm sure Lazard gets
just need
involved.
to get healthy.
Yeah, no, that's true.
To see Lazard's questionable, I think, for this one.
Mm.
And then I know Bakhtiari's not going to play.
Yep.
Elton Jenkins, he saw some reps, but we'll see if he plays the whole game. We just need to get healthy. But here's one thing totally off topic, not even scripted on what we were talking about today. Why is it? So I talked to actually Jack Plum, about this issue. Knee braces. In college, every lineman wears knee braces. In the pros, they don't wear knee braces. Guess what? They tear their ACL.
Yeah.
Why don't they carry it over to the pros?
I don't know. I hate to bring Odell back into this, but that's repeat injury right there with the ACL. Could the second one have been avoided, or even the first one if he had that knee brace on? I don't know why they don't do it. I'm sure there's...
I mean, for linemen.
For linemen, I see.
With all their weight
Really?
shifting around.
They don't?
I don't think so.
That's a lot of impact. Yeah.
I don't see them unless they're wearing them underneath. I think some of them do wear it underneath.
I would hope they wear it. Those guys are getting the most impact and the most weight put on them every single play. They better.
It doesn't seem like a lot of them do. I see a major drop off, but I understand they're uncomfortable. But let's save the knees, baby. Let's keep those ACLs in line.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I'll have to look out for those because maybe they are like disguised under the long socks or the pants, right?
But I haven't looked real in depth, but on the outside, you never see them like in college football where you see them running around with them on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be wearing. If I was a coach, I would make every lineman wear knee braces. I don't care if it's uncomfortable. Well, you know what? You're getting paid millions. We're going to keep you staying and playing football.
Well, and what's more uncomfortable is a knee injury. So there's that argument right there.
Being in with your leg up, for a lot of months. But
yeah, I'm with you on that.
Back on topic, Bears Texans at prime time of noon.
That's our prime time. I like noon games. Get it out of the way. We lose, and then we forget about it.
This one, no, you shouldn't lose this one.
No, we shouldn't. And yeah, I'll start with mine. I think Bears by 10 or 13. I think David Montgomery, we saw what he did last game. They're just going to ride him until they can't ride him anymore. And then they've got Khalil Herbert to lean back on too. So maybe don't give Montgomery the ball 30, 35 times a game. Herbert had a great game against the Packers and the couple of touches that he had. So Montgomery and Herbert, and then eventually you can start doing what I said with the Packers and what they did well against the Bears. Effectively use the run, disguise the run, work out a play action, get Justin Fields out in the open field, which we'll talk about him next. Yeah, I say Bears by 13.
I'm going to say by 6.
Bears by 6? You do have the Bears. Okay.
Still give them Bears. I'll still give Bears. But, Texans are a sloppy mess. And I don't see them really. And the whole AFC South is led by the Jaguars with 1 win.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's we'll come up to that, but yeah.
In that whole division.
I mean, that whole division should be repurposed almost because it's turning into the NFC East that a couple years ago. Actually, was that last year when they were all like under 500 and
a couple
still
years ago? But even last year wasn't too great. Yeah, I think Dallas got 11 or 12 wins last year. Yeah, the number 1 overall pick for the last 2 years has the only win in their division after 2 weeks.
I think it's
that's bad.
As a division, I think they just need to get together and say, look, fellas, we need to find a couple wins here. Somebody needs to stand out a little bit.
Well, they'll play each other, but even the Texans and the Colts played each other week 1 and they tied. So that's how that division is right now. You can't buy a win. You absolutely can't buy a win.
It's just, you drag the wagon for so long, looks like they're all tired.
Right.
Just nobody has any pop in their stuff, and that's that whole division.
Nothing's clicking.
Nothing's clicking. Certainly indeed. But moving on along, as we look ahead, Justin Fields, we're going to bring this up. had some comments this week, and it wasn't post-game I mean, there were post-game comments. It wasn't right out of the locker room where you can be emotional. This was a calculated response, and Sparks, will let you take the floor on this one, because I feel like as a Bears fan, you should feel personally a little bit mad.
I'm not mad, so I'm not going to directly quote him, but I have here, he's talking about how the guys in the locker room, so right, the guys, active, inactive, those 53 guys who suit up every week, so active in this case, they should be more upset and are more upset, and it hurts them more when they lose than the fans. He follows that up by saying the fans aren't in there putting in the work, right? They're not in the weight room. They're not out there hitting their opponents, working on every down. I don't take too much offense to that. I could see where people would get mad. They're like, no, we follow this team. We've been faithful with this team. We're disappointed in this team. We have a right to be mad. The way I took it, Johnny, is the guys on the field are not trying to disappoint anybody. So when they come out with a loss, they're even more irate than the fans. They're ticked off. They don't like, losing to the Packers 10 of the last 11 times. That's how I took it. But you were saying maybe they lose some of the fan base or maybe the front off. Where were you going with that?
These are people that pay their money. They work 40 hours a week.
Right.
They don't make millions to play a child's game.
Right.
And, obviously they're not as talented as Justin Fields. But to hear, because everything matters on revenue. Revenue. You don't get a paycheck if your team's not making any money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so if the fans said, hey, let's not cheer for him. Let's not buy his jersey. Let's not do all this and that and this and that. And, his guaranteed money could be the last he sees, and then it's going to be sayonara, see you later. And I just feel like as a fan and as somebody in the media, yes, it doesn't hurt as bad because you're not the one actually out there. Don't bring the fans into it because they're spending their days, obviously the United States enjoys football. They're spending their hard work money to go watch you play. And I think there's a lot of people that could spend it other ways, but
right.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. And yes, I do think the fans, if you're talking about the Bears fans now, I feel bad for all of them. It's kind of like you play the small violin when you see them walk by or something.
Thank you.
But
remorse.
Yep, remorse. I do show remorse in this show, but as a Bears fan, you got to be sick and tired of losing. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I could sit with that, right?
He's got to do his job and win the games, but yeah, he's not getting the kind of support that he needs. And I think, like people who actually understand the game understand that probably just talking out of anger a little bit and just talking about, probably didn't really think it through. Just didn't think he needed to involve the fans. He could have just said, it hurts a lot for the guys in the locker room. We're all trying our best, we're all trying to get the wins.
That is a better way to say that.
I just didn't think you needed to bring in the fans.
I agree with that. And I think, to contextualize it a little bit, not saying he should have said this. What you just said was perfect, saying, the guys in the locker room are upset. Maybe that's not what everyone wants to hear. And they're like, well, go perform. But when you add that second leg to it and say, we're more upset than you, I could see how some people would get mad.
That's where I would get I could see people getting upset. And you know what? It's a lot harder to play at home when people are booing you than when they're cheering for you.
Yeah. No, there's going to be some players who are going to get that for sure. I think with Fields, and I'm not in his head, right? But look at his background, highly touted prospect out of high school. Like every guy in the NFL is, even the fourth stringers. They were the best one in their state probably at one point, or one of the best. Whether they were highly touted with rankings or not, they had something to show. They're used to winning football games. Fields came out of the Buckeyes system. They're just ruling the Big Ten year in and year out, with the exception of last year. Michigan came out and made the college football playoff. He comes to this team that cannot buy a winning season, with the exception of 2018 for the last decade. Now he's a full year plus a little bit in. He's coming off a loss to the rivals that he hasn't been able to beat yet. He knows there's pressure riding on this. It's year 2. He's supposed to take a leap forward. Still not a real significant push forward in the offensive line. Darnell Mooney, a guy who's under 6 feet, is your wide receiver 1. I could see why he's frustrated, but I agree. Don't bring the fans into it if you're trying to get a message across that you could get across by just leaving them out of it. The guys in the locker room are mad. We are going in there working as hard as we can. Even say we're more upset than anyone else, but to single out the fans, the ticket buyers. I see what you're saying. Yep.
It's you can be as mad as you want. I wouldn't go after the fans and say that we're more mad than you are, because I'm sure there's a lot of Bears fans that are pretty mad right now.
See the one video? The guy is in his living room watching the game, and there's 5 seconds left.
Oh, have you seen the one where he kicks out his girlfriend?
Well, she's like, "Why are you crying? You said they were gonna win," and he's like, "Stop it! I've been with you for 2 months. I've been with this team for 22 years."
22 years. Yep, that's one.
Oh no. Yeah.
How you felt, Cory?
No, I was nice to my girlfriend with it. We were watching it.
Face.
Yeah, I just accept defeat. I think he was expecting something else.
It's a sad puppy.
They'll get better. They just not with the personnel they have right now. They've got to make some moves.
And we got another comment question, or not question, but the debate here.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Well, this is one that I partially understand, partially think is a bunch of crap. Brandt from Good Morning Football, or is that what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good Morning Football basically said, the Bears and the Packers rivalry shouldn't be in prime time anymore. Shouldn't have that Sunday Night Football because it's no longer a rivalry. For somebody who's an outsider out of the Green Bay and the NFC North, I think they don't understand the rivalry. It's been kind of lopsided, and I do agree with that. As somebody watching national television, see maybe where they want to see other games rather than the Bears Packers. But the rivalry is very much alive. I mean, going into the week, both sides wanted or had each other's number. I don't think both sides even like each other that much. I still don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think it is a rivalry, but if that's how we're gonna specify things pick primetime games is because they're close games, then there's a lot. I think more rivalries that you can kick out than just Packers Bears out of primetime.
Yeah, I think there's still a storyline there too. I know right now it's very lopsided. It's been lopsided for, you'd probably say, the last decade, right? However, overall, the rivalry, like the actual overall record between these two teams, the Packers have a slight edge. They just passed the Bears a couple of years ago. So it's even in that extent. I also think they're looking at the storylines too. Not only is it one of the oldest, if not the oldest rivalry in football.
It is the oldest.
Yeah. There's questions of, okay, is this Rodgers? We've been saying this for the last 4 years. Same with Brady. Is this his last year? When will he hang it up? Is there a new era in Chicago? So they want to show that transition. There's a lot of rivalries out there where maybe you're thinking, oh my gosh, why are we looking at this? But at the same token, they're playing each other every year, and they kind of want to show those division rivalries because they know people like you and me are going to turn it on no matter what. If others don't want to watch it, I don't know. Yeah.
You can watch the Colts-Texans Sunday night if you want and get about...
Right.
I don't think there's too many Texans fans out there.
And there's not much history behind that because the Texans are a newer franchise. So...
That's what I think is part of it, is because we had the Nitschke Butkus era, and we had old school football, Lombardi, Dicka, you have Holmgren, all sorts of coaches. It goes back into the the basics of football, the very beginnings, and it's part of its roots. So I definitely disagree with that part. But as an outsider looking in, I can understand what he's talking about. Because maybe it's not the most competitive right now, but it's switched over the years. The Bears used to dominate, and then the Packers came back. It's been it's been both ways. Right now, it's gladfully in the Packers because of Mr. 1-2 over there. But
that thing out of your room. I'm gonna drive up to Green Bay and just steal him for a night.
Drive up to Green Bay.
But I see what you're saying, right? There's ebbs and flows. What if 10 years from now the Bears start being dominant again? That's what I'm hoping for, right?
It won't happen. We know that.
Okay, but if it did...
it's a nice thought.
Like, are we really going to look at primetime and go, well, unless these teams are 2 or 3 wins apart this year, why would we air it? Upsets happen. I mean, imagine what we'd be saying if somehow the Bears pulled it off last week. One team was coming off an uncharacteristic loss to the Vikings, although you did call it. And then we were coming off of a win against a 49ers team that consistently gets into the playoffs and usually goes pretty deep. You never know. Upsets could happen, but I don't think I get what you're saying. Outsider perspective, oh, who wants to watch the Packers just step on the Bears twice a year in prime time? But what if an upset happens and, what if the Bears flip the script in a few years? Then do we say, well, we don't want to watch this either? You got to pick your battles.
You can watch, like a couple years ago, we were just talking about in the NFC East in the garbage can division back in that day, and you'd have the Eagles playing the Cowboys, and it was like, okay, well, this is going to be a match game.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think history is way too long for them to cancel that rivalry. I don't think the NFL ever will, and gladly so, because it's, roots of the NFL.
100 years now, man. Like, there's so much history behind it. So I think that's definitely a reason they're keeping it. They're sticking with it. And you never know what can happen, with personnel the next few years.
No. And so let's talk about for the first question, and not really rapid fire, but we're going to call it rapid fire because we have a lot of topics. Two teams that are underperforming in the first 2 weeks. Sparks for you.
Colts, 0-1-1. You've got a tie against the Texans. You've got the blowout, shutout loss against Jacksonville last week. Those are two division wins that you have to have. Those are supposed to be the easy teams in the South. Now we're learning everyone in the South is easy. And the Raiders are 0-2. You make the playoffs last year, you go out, you grab the best receiver in football, and you lay an egg 2 weeks in a row. They were up 2 or 3 possessions in the fourth quarter on the Cardinals. I believe it was 3 at one point, and they blew that game. The Raiders and Colts, I am beyond shocked that they have the records they have right now.
I'm going to have to agree with the Colts. Both Raiders and Colts, but I'll throw in another team that I think is underperforming right now. And I think the Baltimore Ravens are underperforming.
Okay.
I never was a big Lamar fan. I think they have higher expectations than what they're playing out to.
That Dolphins game was tough, man. But they did give up a huge lead, and Tua ended up dotting them up for 6 touchdowns and 400+ yards. So I could see that, though. They've got all their running backs back. They were a fringe playoff team last year, just missed it. They lost Dobbins. They lost Edwards. So now they've got their pieces back, and we're like, okay, what's next? There's high expectations.
No. And two teams that are overperforming, you think?
We'll go Lions. Oh, sorry. Here you go first.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Okay. We'll go Lions and we'll go Eagles. I think the Lions really showed something this last week. They were dominating the Commanders, who I think are a mid-tier team. They'll do fine with Wentz, McLaurin, Samuel. And I think the Eagles are very impressive. They have a bottom 4 strength of schedule right now from last year. The whole NFC East does. They have the 4 easiest schedules. And the Eagles don't play anybody harder than the Steelers and I believe the Packers. They could literally win 13, 14 games this year. So
I was going to say the Eagles too. And the other one's obviously the Little Fins, the Dolphins.
That's a good one. Yep.
Because they, as I said again, that week 1 as one of the teams to watch out for. That's a good team with Tua showing that he can play quarterback. And I think that Tyreek Hill accusation, or, acquiring him was a huge step for that offense.
Hill and Waddle. They're 1 and 3 in receiving yards right now, and then Tua is number 1 in passing yards. So that's a loaded team. They don't even really run the ball a whole lot, and they don't have to. Tua is just able to air it out. So I like that Dolphins pick a lot, Johnny. I really do.
And that takes us to the best team in the league right now for you.
Best team is the Bills. Hands down. They went out and spanked the defending Super Bowl champs in week 1. They followed it up with a strong performance in week 2. So I'm big on the Bills right now.
I'm also big on the Bills. I'll have to agree with you there. I'm going to stick with that one. I don't think there's a lot of argument, but I would say watch the Go Pack Go, baby, because I never doubt my own team. Baby.
All right. They've got a little hill to climb, but you never know.
Once you get some players healthy and Rodgers kind of gets in a groove, gets off the psychedelics, we might be able to find some touchdowns, baby. In Cheesetown.
There you go.
Watch out, Sparks. It's gonna get stanky.
Oh God. Yeah. You could smell the victory.
Right. Moving on, we'll talk about who is your best player in the league right now. Playing their best football.
I'm gonna say Patrick Mahomes. He's tied with a few guys, Tua being one of them. Most passing touchdowns in the league. Everyone's talking about, look, we know he's great, but he just lost Hill. He's utilizing Kelsey. He's utilizing guys who you wouldn't hear the names of before. He's doing what Tom Brady did with guys like Wes Welker. In an alternate dimension,
MVS is a name.
MVS is there. Yes, MVS is there, but there's a backup tight end who I could not tell you the name of right now until I look at their chart, who got a really nice like 40, 50-yard bomb in the last game. Now, he's doing what Tom Brady did with guys like Wes Welker and just giving guys names who otherwise wouldn't have names. So Mahomes is perfect right now. He actually has like 18 touchdowns and no interceptions in week 1 in his career. So one of the best guys in September in NFL history. So I would give it to Patrick Mahomes by a hair.
And I'm going to give it to Josh Allen.
All right. Yeah.
He's my number 1 right now. He's been dominant on the ground. He's been dominant through the air. There's no way to stop him right now. Seemingly, he's the best player in the league. And if he plays like this all season, even I got to admit, this guy may not win the MVP again. It may have to go to Josh Allen, just to be fair, because that would only seem right. If he keeps on this pace, which is going to be a tough pace to keep up, but that's what you got to do to win MVP.
He's got the eyes on him too. I mean, the Bills are looking for a hero, right? They've got no Super Bowl championships so far, so he's going to try and make that run with them.
I got close back in the OJ Jim Kelly days.
Yeah, 4 losses in a row, like over and over and over. If I was a part of that fan base, I would have been mad. So mad. I
do recommend. Well, it sounds like our friends over at the Vikings.
Yeah, we'll have to get a Vikings fan on here. I know a couple.
We got to get a Vikings fan on here.
Yep.
We definitely will. We are still searching for a Lions fan, though.
I think they're going to start to come out, Johnny. They got a win last week. They were favorited for the first time in a game.
We're like, they're coming out of their houses.
Out of hiding. Yep.
Oh my God, it's a Lions fan. Just be like, shake their hand, be like, hi, how are you?
It's been a while. How have you been?
Haven't seen you in years.
Let me introduce you to Amonra St. Brown. All right, like that's going to be a big name this year.
They probably watch the games, but they just haven't gotten out in society.
That so mean. Again, we'll welcome you. We'll be nice to you. We'll behave.
Can't promise anything.
I can more relate to you because my team loses a lot.
All right, so we move on. We talk about the top 5 teams in the league overall. Excuse me. Take a lead.
We'll go Bills. Top 5 teams overall. Chiefs right after. I mean, not too close behind. I do think the Bills have some distance. Your Finns. I think that's a very strong offense. Secondary's been solid as well. Eagles, big Jalen Hurts guy. That defense really stood up against a Vikings offense that looked like they were going to light the world on fire this year, but we know the Vikings, they're hot and cold. And give me the Bucs at the end. They've grinded out 2 tough wins against the Buccaneers and then Saints as well. So give me the Bucs.
Hey, you just said hot and cold, and all I can think is a Katy Perry song.
Oh, I was like, what's he singing?
I thought about it, and sorry about that, but I was like, you're hot and you're cold, you're yes and you're no.
There you go.
Sparks loves a good Katy Perry.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to go with, again, similar list. Bills, let's say, Chiefs, Bulls, Chargers, and to round it out, am I going to go with, the Green Bay Packers.
I knew it. I'm like, he's going to squeeze them in there. He'll be modest. He'll put them at 5. But, yeah, I like the Chargers. 1-1 right now, but they've got talent, especially on defense with Derwin, J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack's already making an impact. I like that.
Derwin was one of my favorites. I thought we were going to get him in the draft, but then we passed him.
Yeah.
He got drafted before.
Picks
before.
Mm-hmm. Just missed out.
Close. Because we don't get a top 10 pick like you guys do every year.
Well, that 10 minutes, Johnny, where you didn't roast my franchise. That was really nice. I just want to let you know that.
Play like a relaxing tune when it's like you're at a spa.
I was having a very good time for those 10 minutes, but
just enjoying his days.
Gone. Now the clock is reset.
On the Bears Super Bowl hopes.
There it goes again. What hopes?
There it goes. Never had hopes. Exactly. That's right.
Can't lose what you don't have.
Overall thoughts on week 2. Another fun week, I thought. Just teams are starting to figure out, I think, their pace a little bit and figure out where they are and where they stand in the division. still think there's teams that'll surprise us coming into towards the end of the season, but right now, getting a better look, and we'll get an even better look with Week 3 coming up here, starting this actually tonight, but then continuing on through Sunday.
Yeah, Jaguars, Giants, and Jets, all won, and Lions. Jaguars, Giants, Jets, and Lions all won in the same week. So anything can happen.
Leaf Clover, you should go find one of those and then go buy a lottery ticket.
There we go.
Probably a good week for that. So it was a great week for Week 2. As time moves on, you got to look at Week 3. And talking about Week 3, we talk about some of the games we're looking forward to in this week. So Sparks, I'll let you take charge.
I am honestly looking forward to that Bears game. I think they have a sizable opponent after playing against a team like the Packers where, things have not gone too well. So I'm excited to see what Pierce does on the side of the Texans. They lost Justin Reed, so I think their defense is going to get cut up by the Bears. So I think that watching Justin Fields maybe throw the ball more than 10 times this game, let Eberflus, let up, let Getsy let up a little bit. I'm excited to just see that. It's a more low-profile matchup. You're not watching playoff contenders or anything. But seriously, just as a football fan in general, not just a Bears fan, I'm a little curious to see how that one pans out.
I'm obviously looking forward to the Bucks Packers, and I want to see Aaron Rodgers take down Brady. I saw him do it once when he was on the Patriots. I was actually at that game, that snowy December game.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun, that game. I think it's going to be a tough hill. I don't like Brady, frankly. I don't.
You are not alone there.
He's kind of a whiner. And, tossing, or not tossing, because Rodgers tosses his tablet. Brady chucks it.
He Gronk spikes it. Straight into the ground. Oh, there's one more matchup. Bills Dolphins. I feel like that has some stakes. That has some stakes this week.
Because that's going to be determining the top in the AFC.
The East, man. Yeah, the East is tough this year. I mean, even the Patriots could be the third best team in that division, and they made the playoffs last year. I mean,
Joe Flacco and the Jets. They were going to get off the ground.
How about Joe Flacco? He beats the Browns for like the 18th time in his career.
Are they ever going to get off the ground as an organization, that whole Jets team?
Oh, my God. I feel like they're just trying new people out. It was Mike White last year. It was Zach Wilson. He'll come back and maybe get the job. I don't know. Flacco looks pretty good.
Yeah, the Cougar Hunters got to come back. Wait for that. Sometimes those trips take a little while.
He's hurt, Johnny. He's just hurt. I don't think he's going to do anything else. He's just hurt right now.
Without that, man lives. But nonetheless, let's go into our newest segment, and that's QB Roulette. Corey Sparks, why don't you give us a spin?
Yeah, we'll give you guys an idea of what's going to go on here. All 32 quarterbacks in right now, for the most part, are guys we think are going to last a while on this team. Goods, bads of a player. We're going to talk about that. We're going to give them an overall grade, and then we're going to say, hey, what's our expectation for how we think their season's going to pan out this year? So we'll give it a spin. We're going to do 2 of these. Me and Johnny are going to give our own thoughts.
Then we'll knock off the people that we already talked about.
Right. All right. Number 1 overall pick from last year.
Touchdown Trevor.
What do you think?
From Clemson.
Little Clemson, number 1 overall from last year.
Yep. A lot of expectations coming in. Hasn't really made. He's also with the Jaguars, so getting
when you're picked number 1 overall.
You're getting what you. I always never liked the draft system because it takes the talent of the draft, and then I think it's almost should be random, but I understand how it's set up because I don't think the best players should go to the worst teams to try to make them the best, and usually end up getting injured and ending their career. Tutty's Trevor. Talented quarterback. Hasn't really shown in the pro level, but he's still got a lot of learning to go. I think he was probably more amped up on expectation because of him in college. When he played the college ball and he played with Amari Rodgers, they ran that play action pass and it was touchdown every time. But that's also Dabo Sweeney's school. And they just had a great organization. Right now, he doesn't have the weapons. He is, to say the least, he's got a team that needs a lot of work.
They're struggling.
Buddy Cole Van Lanen on him. Cole Van Lanen has went to them, but so I hope the best for them. They are the only team in the AFC South with a win. Right now, he is playing. He's playing as best as he can, but he just doesn't have the components to work with. Give a grade after Cory takes a spin at it.
Yeah, goods. Solid fundamentals. I mean, he's been looked at since I saw high school tape from him. I mean, I see him as the Zion
Pocket
Williamson.
passer.
Yeah, very good pocket passer. He's got some. He has to be a little athletic with the offensive line he's been given. I think he's got a better team this year in terms of that wide receiving core, especially. He's got Christian Kirk, who was overpaid. He's got Marvin Jones, who set the wide receiver market. We know what happened a couple months ago there. Kirk, Marvin Jones Jr., Zay Jones, who was the wide receiver 2 or 3 for the Raiders last year, and he's got Evan Ingram and Dan Arnold. So, an ETN in the passing game.
I mean, he's got some talent, but
yeah. But still supporting cast is a bad. Yeah.
I wouldn't say real established talent, you're not getting your Devontae Adams or anything like that.
They don't have that, no, by any means. So I'd say goods, mechanics, good pocket passer, bads. It's just the support. I think it's too early to really analyze him. But what's your grade on him? That should be interesting because he's a fresh talent going into year 2.
I would give him in the B range. I'm going to give him a flat B. B plus, no B minus. I don't think he obviously hasn't shocked the NFL in any sort of way. He's been pretty quiet actually for the most part. But I think he holds his own. He's still working with a lot of weapons or trying to get some weapons and working with weapons. But there's a long road ahead for that kid. And, if Jacksonville's the place for his whole career, I don't know. It's too early to tell right now. I don't think it is, but he is in his rookie contract and he has an obligation to play for them. So, Jaguars might see some wins this year, but have to see because that AFC South is not looking strong as we talked about.
It's a gettable division. Grade. I'll go a half a step below you. I'll go B minus. He had 17 picks last year. I want to see how he really analyzes the field this year. Bad wide receivers or not, a lot of those picks were his fault. I don't care who is lining up next to you. Don't throw into triple coverage. I saw him do that in multiple games last year. And then for expectations, get out of the bottom of your division. And I think that's so extremely doable in the AFC South more than any other division, which you've said already, Johnny. Pass up the Texans. Pass up the Titans or Colts. I mean, who knows? No one's performing right now.
I think they could beat out the Titans.
Yeah, the Titans don't have A.J. Brown anymore, so. Yeah, so get up to second or third. That's the expectation this year.
Might as well get in the race right now while everybody's not playing well. Because if the Titans somehow figure something out without A.J. Brown, that team's going to be a tough team to beat with Derrick Henry running from the backfield.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we got B and B minus for T-Law. We'll take him off the wheel for next time, everyone. We'll go to select one more quarterback. Watch it land on him again. That'd be kind of funny. Ooh.
Oh.
Carson Wentz. Okay.
Commander's QB. Commander-in-Chief.
Commander Carson. Take it away.
Oh, okay. What about Carson Wentz? Carson came into the league. He was the hottest prodigy. It was Pennsylvania, and then he hurt himself and fell off the doorstep and hit his head on the way down. Carson Wentz has been a mess. I'm not afraid to say
it. That was horrible.
I don't care.
And hit his head on the way.
You remember the expectations when Philly won the Super Bowl? He was supposed to come back, be the best player, and win the MVP. He almost won the MVP that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just kind of fallen down. There's nothing happening in his way. I know he's had a bad fortune of luck, and obviously that has shown. But when we look up his stats, sorry, I do not have him pulled up, so I'm going to take a quick peek.
You're going to be pleased. I've been looking at him for a while. He is solid on paper. There are some gaps. I'll let you keep going, but he's solid on paper.
He's solid on paper, but paper always tell the whole story. That's the real question, Mr. Sparks.
Right.
You can ask yourself that all day long, but yeah, taking a look at some of his stats here, Carson Wentz, I mean, I just from what he came from to now where he is, I just don't know. I mean, his QBR is 51.7, completion percentage is 65.5, which is not bad. Oh, pass yards, 7 touchdowns, not too bad. Taking a look at this 2020 season, let's take a peek here. 2022, obviously his line isn't very good, but he's already got 3 picks.
Okay. Yeah. But
Well, he's got 7 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
That's against Jacksonville and Detroit.
Yeah, those are pretty easy teams.
Detroit puts
I'm
up a
used to
decent
saying
team.
that. We'll see about both of those, but yeah.
So, Pennsylvania, maybe not so much. If I were to give him a grade, probably being a little harsh. That's who I am. I'll go C-.
Ooh. Below Lawrence. Okay, so you've got a lot of upside on Lawrence in comparison.
He's younger. He hasn't been hurt. He has a team that's starting to work with him a little bit. Wentz is kind of actually on the downswing and heading out.
Heading up. I think he's way too good to be anything other than a starting quarterback in the league right now. So that's why you keep seeing him passed around. The 1-year deals or the short-term deals, right, are because he is injury prone. So Goods, I think he's got a great arm. I think he actually reads the football field very well. That's why you see these numbers, 27-7 last year, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Late in the game, I'm a little worried about him. He's got a decent chunk of game-winning drives. My bad on him, pocket presence. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
He's had some really bad offensive lines. I understand that. You have to know how to slide. That dude will just stay there for the longest time. He'll pivot, which is great. You want to go through
kind of like a Ben Roethlisberger, planted in there like a tree.
But he's more athletic than Roethlisberger. Like, he is able to move. He just chooses not to, which that's my biggest downfall on him is he will not move. That's where you're going to see what you don't see on the initial box score is fumbles. He has plenty of fumbles to go across his whole career, so that's my bad on him. Grade, I'm going to give him a B. I like the fact that unlike a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, he's able to go through his first, second, and third progressions and not throw it into double and triple coverage. He just has to have pocket presence. He has no clue where anybody is around him. So I'll give him a B.
I'll raise mine up to a C.
Hey, a little convincing. All right, there we go.
He does read the field
Carson.
well. Yeah, C for Carson. Better not get to Fields for F. Bam, Cory, bam.
That was another 10 minutes.
Hot Thursday, because we were talking about other quarterbacks. And Cory set himself up, though.
I was hoping we wouldn't go on Fields today. I'm like, let's just let a few weeks happen. Because if it landed on Fields today, I don't know what I would have given him.
Let it settle through. Let it run through.
Expectation for the season. What's he doing in Washington this year?
Well,
you look thrilled.
Philly's gonna win.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have any confidence in the Commanders winning. The defense is really good. I like the Commanders' defense. The front line, actually.
I was gonna say just the front line, yeah. Chase Young and
I had to refrain my statement because I love the names too.
Oh, yeah.
Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and Payne.
Mm-hmm. Bring the pain.
Awesome names. If it was a name game, 10 out of 10 for them. 10 out of 10. What kind of defense do you want to go against with Payne, Sweat, and
Young? Yeah.
Well, Chase Young, just the talent of him.
Right.
Expectation for the season, if they end up with who do they have? They have Philly. Giants are looking okay.
And the Cowboys.
Still not totally convinced on them. And the Cowboys, they may find a step, unfortunately. So if they can finish second in the division, that would be a huge win for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, second or third. Don't be in fourth. I think on paper, the Commanders are supposed to be in fourth this year. Maybe above the Giants. The Giants are 2-0 right now, but they haven't played very good competition, and Saquon's still healthy. Daniel Jones hasn't fumbled the ball like 4 times in a game yet, which I think that dude might be on his last year starting, because I don't know who else is going to look at him and go, this is a starting quarterback. But we'll stay on Washington. I think that, yeah, the expectation is going to be third place. Goal should be second. And you're in a decently hard division. I think when the Cowboys are fully healthy, as much as you hate them, Johnny, they're going to get you 9 or 10 wins. And then the Eagles are
Oh, I
nuts.
can't stand the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Eagles are nuts. So they're in a pretty hard division, actually, with the exception of the Giants.
You can stand the Cowboys?
Yeah, I could stand the Cowboys. I think,
Oh.
it's my dad's team. I said that before. Well, so maybe that has something to do with it. But expectations get second or third, and they'll probably clump together 7 wins, go 7-10. Carson Wentz looks for a new team. I don't think he's the answer in Washington unless they get him a ton of weapons. Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch, but I don't think this is his long-term destination. He needs to prove himself to another team. So that's what I got.
He's got to prove himself here to prove himself that he's worthy of another team.
Exactly. This is like another tryout. I think he's been trying out for a while, and the tryout is mostly, hey, can you stay healthy? Because we're yet to see that. So, yeah.
Let's look at week 3. Tonight we got Pittsburgh and Cleveland. That'll be another AFC North game. Taking a look at down the rundown, we see Tennessee, or rather Vegas at Tennessee, KC at Indianapolis. That's going to be an absolute slaughterfest.
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo at Miami, as we mentioned. Detroit at the Vikings. Baltimore at New England. Cincinnati, that's a team that's been underperforming. That's a team that
is bad, yeah. Holy turnovers.
Really been underperforming. Burrow's been sacked, 13 times?
Yeah, the O-line that they've been trying to build for the last 2 years for him. Clearly not doing
terrible.
Well. Yeah.
They're at the Jets. They're at Joe Flacco's Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia's at the Commanders. New Orleans at Carolina. Jacksonville at Los Angeles, the Chargers. And then the Rams are at Arizona. Atlanta at Seattle. That's going to be kind of a trashy game. I wouldn't advise watching that one at 325. Your Packers at Tampa Bay, and then San Francisco at Denver, and Dallas closing it out at New York. Should actually be a decent game. Saquon Barkley healthy. He plays pretty well. Obviously. Thoughts on those games? Any ones that really stand out to you?
I'm scanning the field for upsets, and this is kind of cheating because the line is at 1 right now, but the Cowboys are actually underdogs against the Giants. In no universe do I see the Giants stringing together 3 wins in a row. So I think Cooper Rush limps this team to victory. CeeDee Lamb gets more involved than he has been over the course of the last couple weeks. We'll see if Dalton Schultz plays. Dalton Schultz, excuse me. He's been hurt. Zeke and Pollard are going to have to be the answer, and then Micah Parsons is going to be very disruptive, and you have a quarterback on the other end, and Daniel Jones, who has the pocket presence of Carson Wentz, but maybe worse, if that's possible. So I'm going to say Cowboys upset Giants. The only reason they're underdogs is because Dak is hurt. So, yep.
That's a pretty good one. I guess the other game, you got to look at this. Really see a real good. I mean, a lot of games are kind of like either one way or another. But I would like to see this Baltimore New England game, because I think they're both teams that are probably not playing their highest grade of football, and Lamar Jackson is really obviously a lot of people like him. Again, I'm not a huge fan of him, but he's at New England, in Belichick's house. It's a little bit different of a ball game at Gillette. You got the big horn, which is actually one of my favorites on third down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot better than the Vikings squeal, that little
the squeal.
Yep, the little squeal. I like the big foghorn in the background.
Would you say that's a prove-it game for both of them? Because I feel like both of those teams are in the same spot, not expected to win their division. They should squeak into the playoffs. Is that kind of a prove-it game? Like, show us where you are. Show us that you are a contender.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And I think that both sides are at that level. And Belichick's, he's figuring it out. He's trying his best. But he's also given, scraps, basically, for offense in a way. And then he's got Mac Jones at quarterback. So... But his defense is usually pretty solid. I would expect them to play well. We got to see how they do against a running quarterback like Lamar. Actually, a running back. He's in the top 5, I think, for yard, or somewhere in the top 10 for yards.
Yeah, he's got the longest rush and the longest pass this year, which is kind of cool, kind of weird, but yeah.
So, be the game I'd watch for. See who takes that one. That obviously would set a precedent out there in the eastern half of the AFC, in the AFC North. We'll have to see what happens.
That should be a good matchup.
And keep on moving. We're gonna go to our favorite news segment: the pancakes versus waffles debate. Pancakes versus waffles, ladies and gentlemen. Corey Sparks built this beautiful graphic. And pancakes versus waffles. Sparks will have you run through the first one.
Yeah, we ran a poll through. It was 65% to waffles, 35% to pancakes. You'll kind of see that in the comments here. I'm going to give each of you a shout out. We seriously appreciate all of you so much who comment. You're the reason, we're able to provide this type of content when we're doing interactive stuff. So this is the cool thing about this thing, right? You comment, not only are we going to give you credit, we're probably going to put you on the video too. So, and we'll respond, of course. We'll start out with Bennett. Bennett, my man. Bennett Clark. Syrup pockets and extra fluff blow pancakes out of the water. So he's a waffles guy. That was kind of the argument you were making before we started.
They have symmetrical features inside a circle. Kind of
so
nice.
you're more interested in the look of it. you like
that. No, not that. But yes, the syrup pockets, you can fill it up with when you're sitting there. So I'm on the waffles side.
I
think waffles are a lot better. You sit there and fill them up one by one, and it's fun to do. It's like an ice tray almost, but of syrup. And then you just have a whole thing of syrup, and it's just some soggy waffles with a bunch of syrup on them. Everybody, I think, for the most part, likes maple syrup. The Canadians did a pretty good job on that.
Yep. All right. So I like it. I love it. I'm a pancakes guy. We'll kind of reveal that as we go on through these. I think, you can't really put butter on waffles. It's easier to spread, but I won't spoil anything. So Maddie Beck, thank you for commenting. She said, because chocolate chip waffles are superior. All right. And waffles have pockets for you to pour syrup in, and it fits nicely.
That's not the only thing about the waffles, though. It's the fact that, like to put peanut butter on them. Peanut butter on it.
I have done that. I will say that. I have done that.
So good with the syrup on there.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. So thank you, Maddie. Yeah, that's pretty. Chocolate chip waffles are pretty good, but chocolate chip pancakes are. Can I say those are superior? I think I can. So.
Oh, they're a flowery mess.
We'll go Derek K. This is my cousin. He also runs a catering business in Northern Illinois. So shout out to crafted.q in the parentheses. That's his Instagram handle. So if you like brisket or anything grilled, this man is a god on the grill. So I'll just give him that shout out real quick. Waffles hold the syrup in the little pockets. No comparison to pancakes. So Johnny, Derek's saying this shouldn't even be a debate. This is just...
It really isn't. And I felt bad when you said you like pancakes.
Oh, you felt bad. Remorse.
He's going to get roasted. I gotta take the lower. I should have taken the lower, less superior pancakes.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Derek. Shout out to you and your business. You are doing great. Hope you're doing great as well. But I know that business is doing well. I'll have to try out some more of that food soon. Matt Ferracci, he is an MLB videographer, Johnny. I had him on for a podcast before. He actually shoots a lot for the Rockies. He goes out west. He lives in Colorado. I mean, he's living the dream. He slipped and fell on his butt at AmFam Field, and he showed me the video. When he was trying to, he does a wireless camera and runs up to the guys and shows their celebration. He says waffles, and it's not even close. We're down 4-0 now. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. No, but appreciate you commenting. Matt 2.0, Matt Sherman, plays baseball here at UW Oshkosh. Plays in Clinton, Iowa over the summer. Solid player, pitcher, batter, and you know what? He likes pancakes. So, Matt... You already made a great first impression when I met you in Iowa.
Hit his head as a child or something.
What? Oh my gosh, Johnny! One disagrees with you. And they hit their head.
Oh, I'm just saying, waffles are like, it's not even a debate. Like that one person said back, I forgot who it was.
Matt brings up a great argument. Matt Sherman does.
It's easier to spread butter on toast, but you want.
Do you not like butter? Butter's amazing when it melts in. And then and once the butter has melted into the pancake, it's nice and soft. Then you can put syrup on top of it.
Totally different discussion here.
What do you...
I shared this thing. Oh, we'll get through them and then we'll talk about this real quick.
Oh, I thought you meant this is a different discussion. I'm like, we're talking about pancakes. That's the debate.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Matt. We'll go back here.
Thanks, Matt.
All right.
So when you cook toast,
Okay.
are you a deep char guy, or how do you cook it? Medium rare, medium rare, rare,
medium rare. Like it still kind of looks
like
bread, but
it's got a tan?
There's a little tan in the middle. Yep.
Yeah, I've been cooking it rare, but I cannot figure out how to cook it medium rare because I just don't understand how long you put it in. If I put it in any longer than I do, it seems like it burns.
Microwave to microwave, right? I don't know.
It's not. You don't microwave toast. You
put
it in the toaster.
Toaster to toaster. Oh my.
Oh my gosh.
That's how you get the medium rare. That's how you get the medium rare. You microwave it.
Say, what do you like most? I don't like to brag. I don't like to boast, but I like toast.
Johnny, if it's too rare, you just put it back in for 5 seconds, then just keep going.
I do that, but I try to do that, but I haven't perfected the art. I want to figure out how to do it just at one time, not even have to touch the toaster, just let it pop up, be a perfect medium rare.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I like my steaks, but I always get it to because I get worried. I get worried it's going to burn.
I'll make you good toast, Johnny, and then I'll brand a Bears signal right in the middle of it, right in the butter.
And that makes it bad. It's spoiled at that point.
Spoiled? Okay. All right. Fair. Okay.
No, they make toasters that can imprint the logo right on there. You get the C or even the bear face.
I'm going to have to do that.
You could probably, I'll buy it for Christmas.
And then I'll make that toast for you and give it to you.
Oh, no, I won't eat the toast.
All right.
It'll be subpar toast. It probably will. Probably will fall apart.
Oh yeah, I was like, where's the analogy to our defense? So yeah, it's probably got holes in it, like our defensive line. I was waiting for that one. Okay,
it'll probably just burn up and crisp in a little ball, and that's the Bears organization.
Ball. The whole organization.
The franchise, the team, everything else. Toast has been a tough thing for me because I cannot figure out how to cook it properly. When you go for toast, and even if you toast bread, like just toast bread for like a BLT or something.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't figured it out.
It's a lot like the Packers, right?
They're close. Make a grilled cheese.
Yeah, the Packers are close to going all the way. They just can't get there. You're kind of in the NFC Championship.
I set it up.
And then that toaster is just the 49ers, and it just takes it away from you. You're close, though. You're 1 or 2 games away.
Oh, thank God it's not coming into you're heading into Lambeau with high expectations, and then you just get absolutely fried inside of there and cooked up for another week.
This is no longer about toast.
This isn't about toast anymore. We left that conversation 2 minutes ago. We're talking about Packers Bears once again.
Thank you to everyone who did the fan segment, though. We'll do some more debates.
Oh yeah, big shout out to you guys.
Yep.
Guys. And every week, like we said, we're going to have poll questions. It's not going to be related typically to sports.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever we put your opinion in there. If you have an opinion,
we'll break outside of it, sports sphere a little bit, and just see what you guys have to say. We want to talk to all of you.
That's kind of what we do towards the end of the show here.
Right.
Let's go into grind my gears.
Another one. So perfect. So just starting right off the jump. So what grinds your gears? I mean, you can probably guess what this segment is about, everyone. But anything that ticks you off, it's mainly been related to sports. If you want to go outside of that, we can open it up to that as well. Johnny, I wanted to start out with this one. This one just made me smile. We just kicked this podcast off. Ryan Zibble said, "Hey man, just wanted to say I really like the first 2 episodes of Across Enemy Lines. The number one thing that infuriates me about the NFL, it's a good topic too, roughing the passer penalties, specifically when the defender lands with his body weight on the quarterback. Anyways, excited for episode 3, which we're shooting right now. Thank you so much, Ryan. And a Bears win, hopefully." That didn't age well.
Wow. That kicked me in the balls. All right, Ryan. I know you. It kicked me in the balls. I didn't read the bottom part there at the second. Anyways, excited for episode 3. The Dolphins are looking good, but I've been the one vouching for your little squeakers down south. So I'm the one who said they had the most upside this season. Tyreek Hill coming in. So Ryan, you should be a little more sentimental on that aspect. You know what? You could cheer for the Bears. I don't care, frankly. If you want to choose for your losing franchise, losing organization.
Let's be nice to Ryan. He just complimented the podcast.
He made fun of. He said, "Go Bears."
Yeah.
He said, "Hopefully the Bears win."
No harm done. You won.
Yeah, no, Ryan deserves full bread and butter here.
Yeah, we appreciate it though. Like just the support from the beginning. I mean, it is the beginning, right? So good topic. The roughing the passer penalty, specifically when you see someone's momentum going into the quarterback. The rain game with the Bears, you're slipping, you're sliding, and you run into someone after. I mean, what do you think of it, Johnny? The quarterback position's clearly being protected a lot more as of late. Have they gone too far? What do you think about that?
I actually do think they went too far. They've
Okay.
gone too far. I've seen it where seemingly the defender has to do everything in his physical abilities to try to avoid his momentum going straight into the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think that almost causes more injuries because I think if you just let him, come on impact, you're not going to see the twisted legs and the sort of things like that. I agree with that. I think the roughing the passers are quarterback position is a little delicate. Given I have a franchise quarterback on my team,
Thanks.
like you, Sparks,
Thanks.
right back there, number 12. I think I'm probably a little bit more less wanting to change the rule, but I do understand where it comes from because I've seen it many times where it seems like you had to do everything and dust the quarterback off, knock on his door, and make sure he's okay to fall down to the ground
Put him
before
to
you
bed.
can put him to bed, give him a warm cup of
Tuck
milk,
him
and
in.
sing him a song. Yep, and lay him down nicely. But yes, I do think because I think it's taken away from the game and taken away from the side of defense, and actually I think it almost implicates more physicality on the side of some of those guys that are wanting to make contact and they can't make contact and then they just get frustrated. So I think there's a lot of things, especially if they get a flag thrown. I think there's a lot of things to work on there. I think the refs are a little bit too delicate these days. Um, I think the quarterback position should be like every other position, and I do. Again, I will be a little bit more sentimental because I got number 12 back there.
I'll double down on that. Yeah, Brian, great question again. Really good topic that we're bringing up. Any topics that you all have at all, even if it's how it grinds my gears, put them in the comment section. We will bring them up. We love that interaction. I think it was in a good spot for a very brief period where you could not hit the quarterback in the foot, ankle, or in the head because you don't want to, let all their body weight fall on one small little joint. And obviously, head injuries are a serious deal. So I agreed with it there. But when it gets to the point where, yeah, a guy is driving into your shoulder and you just let go of the ball and there is absolutely no way he can evade the quarterback, I think it's gone way, way, way too far. And wasn't there an intimidation factor at one point? If you're a quarterback, that motivates you. Get rid of the ball early. Don't let him get that close to you. And it motivates the offensive line. Keep them away from you. Now it's like, oh, shoot. 3 people just blew their blocking assignments. Get rid of the ball quick enough, and all they have to do is touch you, and we get a free 15 yards. I think it takes away from the game entirely. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Let's go to number 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's go on to the next one.
Joe Buck.
Oh, wow,
nice and simple. This is Lee Hummel. He's basically my uncle. Used to bowl with him in a league. He lives in Florida now, doing great. Hope you're doing great, Lee. Joe Buck. That's all we got, Johnny. That's what we got to work with right now. He went on to say he doesn't like how he thinks his dad used to be an announcer. Maybe he's mooching off that. But here's my take on Joe Buck, and then I'll go to you, Johnny. I don't hate him as much as most do. I think he is great at what he does, play by play. When he starts to venture into color commentary, I just think that's out of his hemisphere, and that's where I start to disagree with some of the things he says. Parham nearly got paralyzed, or he did get paralyzed in a Chargers game last year, and Johnny, he's shaking, like his hands are by his chest, and Joe Buck opens his mouth and goes, well, it is 70 out. It's a little cold. Maybe that's why he's shaking. I'm like, don't talk there. Don't. That's horrible. The dude's not moving other than his arms shaking. So Joe Buck, solid play-by-play commentator. Stay in your lane. That's where I'm at.
Joe Buck. Oh, Joe. Where do I go off? At least it's not your buddy Troy Aikman, but I can't stand Troy. But you're Joe Buck. You're talk when seemingly you get bias along, especially when you're with Troy. It's my Packers Cowboys, and I see some biases in them sometimes. As an announcer, phenomenal.
Okay.
Play by play, as you mentioned, But I think sometimes he has too many personal connections to different teams at times. And sometimes I feel like he advertises that a little bit as the Packer fans. But that also maybe because he's talking with Troy Aikman.
That's
Hates
true.
Packers.
Yeah. Anytime you get someone who Troy Aikman's not fresh out of the league, but he definitely has ties to the Cowboys, gets to call some Cowboys games. Those guys are moving on from Fox now. But yeah, I agree, Johnny. I think
Yeah,
we're both
I
on the
mean
same
he's not
wavelength.
he's not a bad announcer. I
No.
mean I don't mind him like as play by play. If he's just calling a play, it's fine. I mean he's phenomenal at it.
Yeah, I think he knows the
Just his
game.
dad did get him the job, but no, nonetheless, when he goes outside, like you said, when he goes outside his lane, when he starts talking about certain teams, you can see biases in his announcing, and that kind of drives me nuts because it always happens, and the Packers play.
Absolutely. So we'll move on to numero tres. Emma, thank you. This is a good one, and I think it applies many places. It hits you in certain places. Johnny, it hits me when the refs make the call, the wrong call, and it's obvious, especially in the day and age where, and I sub-commented to this from our account, there is reviews, and then they do it, and they look at it, and they get it wrong again. That's irritating. That's a pretty general one, but I like it.
Oh. Parks is inferencing something that happened this past week.
Yeah.
Or referring to something, not inferencing.
You must think he crossed the goal line then, because I wasn't saying anything about that.
No, you were definitely saying something about that. Like, and they get it wrong. But Emma EPG Jazzy, quite the name there, Emma. I got to give you that. When refs make the wrong call, it's obvious. I mean, I give refs leeway because I know there's a lot of things going on outside of the game, which should probably be going on. But inside the game, I think sometimes if they say, I mean, obviously in the NFL you can review things, and then they should be making it right. But on the initial call, if it's in the question, I try not to blame the refs. We as a nation we are in a reffing shortage, and I know we're talking about pro sports, but I also want to recognize other refs because I've been an umpire and I've gotten things wrong for baseball. It's a tough job because things move so fast during the game. So I do understand that, but if it's the NFL and stuff like that where you have review college football, able to review it, and then you should correct your call and be able to stand up and say I made the wrong call. But for overall, I think it's a tough debate because if they don't say it's like can't challenge a play or something, it can't be reviewed. I think that's when people get most frustrated, but I think most refs will try to be as accurate as they can.
Yeah, that's fair. So Johnny, you're saying like the more resources they have, the less leeway you'd give them. You're like, okay, I mean, if you're able to review this thing, I would hope you get it right.
But if like they can't, the only way they can overturn it or get a review is through certain time limits and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then they should use it. But if they can't, and hopefully they're using their best judgment. But I also think it's just I think it's a tough one for me because I feel like refs have one of the hardest jobs because they got the fans, players, the coaches, they got everybody pushing on them because they made a call.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
That's why I always say a game should never come down to a call. You should always let it play out.
I could see that. So yeah, Emma, we see where you're coming from for sure. It's good to know you also agree that Justin Fields did break that plane. All right, thank you, Emma.
No, she does not.
Next is sister-in-law, Jen Sparks. Just the NFC North rivals in general, which yeah, Johnny, I tolerate you, but the Packers definitely. No, I'm just kidding. But the Packers, Lions, and Vikings definitely get me feeling a certain type of way, and I'm sure it's the same for you. Although you said the Lions and us, we don't really bother you. It's more the Vikings.
I don't mind the little bears from the south that can't seem to make their way up and take down a piece of cheese.
What?
The scary little lions on the eastern part of my state and over across the lake haven't really been anything in the last number of years. The Vikings. I can't stand the Vikings. I've never been able to stand the Vikings. I hate the Vikings. And I hate their stupid little horn and their skull chants. But yeah, that's me. So you know what, Sparks, I'll let you take it away because I'm sure you probably have some differing opinions from the people of the North.
Yeah, I mean, does it make you more mad? I'll just ask you this: that the Vikings won Week 1, or did you hated them pretty much before that though? I think you've always.
Well, I've never liked the Vikings.
Yeah.
I never will like the Vikings. It's just been something that's been into my blood. It's just this distaste. Like I get a bad taste in my mouth when I talk about the Vikings. Like can't stand it. Can't stand those Vikings.
Cowboys of the North.
Cowboys of the North. That's the brand we're trying to establish here, Sparks.
Yeah, Lions don't bug me a whole lot, and that's saying a lot because even the Bears have been struggling. Vikings and Packers. I mean, oh my gosh, I don't know why I do this to myself. I look at Packers Twitter after the Bears Packers play each other, and I'm just like, oh, that's something I could have gone my whole life without seeing, and now I feel gaslit by another franchise. But I mean, I don't know. I'm going through grief. I just want the Bears to be contenders so I can be mad about this stuff again. But I'm in a very neutral spot where I'm just like, oh, yeah, we're probably going to lose 4 or 5 division games this year because I'm just looking at the situation and it just is what it is. But the rivalry always spices it up a bit. So thank you, Jen. Love you as well. Last one. You can read it. You can read this one.
Oh, yeah, this one's mine. I had to submit it. When your color commentator needs to go to the bathroom for 45 minutes at McDonald's, then you have to eat your burger super quick because we have to set up our radio gear and get ready. I'm not mentioning anybody specifically, but hopefully you're watching and listening in.
Story time? Story time?
Story time is it was my second year in being sports director at WRST FM Oshkosh. Great station of the Titans and Titan TV, as Sparks is with right now. So I want to give them a mention. But so I decided to take Chandler Brindley down for a call a game in Platteville. And like most people, you go to the bathroom before you go on the road trip. And, it's a 3-hour drive to Platteville. Anyways, he first says he'll give me directions. I don't need to pull up my phone. And leads me right into Madtown because he didn't give me directions. So then I went down, we're on State Street and we're driving around trying to get back out.
You're in the thick of it.
And yeah, we were in the thick of it. Luckily, the Badger game was going on.
There you go.
During the time of the game, so the streets were fairly empty. We got out pretty efficiently. But then when we get to, I can't remember, it wasn't Platteville quite yet. Like Mineral Point, I'm not quite sure what town it was. It was a small town out in the southwest part of the state. Where I'm like, oh, we'll go pick up McDonald's, and Chandler's like, okay, perfect. I said his name, Chandler. So sorry, Chandler Brindley. My bad. But he's like, oh, perfect. And this was in the era of COVID. We couldn't go inside. We had to go through a drive-through, but he asked if he could go use the bathroom. Well, I, being the nice guy I am, didn't go pick up food, waited for him.
Oh, my God.
Let him go to the bathroom. Of course, you'd think he'd be in a rush to get back out and back on the road and just get down there to Platteville. We only had probably 10 minutes to go, but it was pretty close. And we sat there. I sat there in the car waiting for him to go to the bathroom because he decided not to go before the road trip. And it took about 45 minutes. And then we pick up the food. We start heading towards the stadium. Obviously, it's a packed game. Already late. And I didn't get to eat my burger. He got to eat his burger because you know what? He wasn't driving. He got to eat his whole meal. So then we get there. Try to stuff down my burger in like 2 minutes. And, it's a double quarter pounder, so that doesn't feel good. Wasn't able to get it. Tried to eat some fries. I had a shake that I ordered, but wasn't able to really take any of that. And we had to get up there and get ready for the game because the game was starting in so many minutes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. It was just a mess. And Chandler, it will be a memory that lives with us both forever. But it was a funny time. But I had to say, it did grind my gears at the time.
It grinded your gears at the time. All right, that's fair. That's a good story there. Chandler, we love you. Thank you for that comment. The last episode we put it in, we'll be putting one of yours in as well. You did have a grind my gears. For you folks at home watching or listening, we're going to take some of your grind my gears segments and we're going to put them in here and then we'll save the rest for later. But everyone's will make it. But yeah, huge shout out to Chandler. That's a pretty good that's a pretty good story.
Yeah, yep. It certainly is indeed. But we're just about to the end of it here. We talk about our grinds our gears real quick and then probably end the show.
Sounds good.
Well, let's talk about. I'll let you go first on yours. More NFL base.
Yeah, Mike Evans, my fantasy wide receiver, decided to just haul off and truck Lattimore into the ground, and now he's suspended a game, and he got basically kicked out of the game or ejected last week, right before all the scoring started happening, when I lost that league. So thank you, Mike Evans. I'm sure you have plenty of other worries, but I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I don't appreciate that you hurt my fantasy team. So I feel better again. That's good. That's off my chest. On to you.
Oh, I got 3 things on my chest.
Yeah, there you go.
Start with the football-related ones, and then I'll move over to my outside one. My first one will be Cowboys being America's team. In what world are the Cowboys America's team?
This world, man. I mean, it's... It is what it is.
I know your dad does, but...
It is what it is. They're just called that.
Oh, it's garbage. It's stupid. It needs to be changed, and I think there's a lot better teams more fitting for America's team than the Cowboys.
You gonna say the Packers?
Yeah.
Little Green Bay, one of the smaller markets, and
hard blue collar working. That's right. And we dominate the Bears.
That was a good 10 minutes again. I keep watching that clock. I'm like, that was nice.
The other one is football related, is the Buckeye mascot. Can't stand their dancing little nut.
He's kind of funny. Is a nut? What actually is he?
He is.
Is he actually a nut?
Hey, a Buckeye is a nut.
I did not know that.
It's a nut.
They're the Ohio State nuts.
That's what they are. These nuts.
The Ohio State these nuts.
These nuts, but yeah, a Buckeye is a nut. Nobody could have thought of a better mascot for the Ohio State. I mean, given, the Badger's a rodent, the Wolverine is a weasel, Buckeye is a nut. There's a lot of bad college football games if you break them down and look at them. What's got you puzzled there, Mr.
They're playing the nuts this weekend. That just baffles me. And
the rodents are playing the nuts.
And the rodent might lose to the nut. They're like 18-point underdogs.
Rodent's probably gonna lose to the nuts.
I'm just thinking about that. I'm like, we're about to get crushed by some.
You've seen their mascot, the dancing guy with the nut with the hat.
I just never thought he was a nut. I don't know what I thought he was. How many times were we gonna say?
What'd you think he was?
I don't know. Some type of animal like the rest of the mascots. What
kind of animal looks like that besides a human? He's a dancing nut. He's nuts. Says Cory Sparks.
I have not said that yet. That is all you. The Ohio State nuts. That's nuts. My fact of the day, I guess. That you just enlightened me a little bit. I had no clue that they were the Ohio State nuts.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't know what a Buckeye was.
I had no clue. Little nugget of knowledge there.
It's a nut.
Oh,
it is.
What's this last one you got on there? That one's kind of funny.
Oh, this last one's outside. Again, it's going to be one of my outsider ones, but it's going to be people who eat Miracle Whip. How do you people do it? It's disgusting.
I eat Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip is freaking disgusting.
You have tried it, right?
Yes.
Okay, you're not just looking at it and being like, oh, that looks nasty. It does have a tang.
It's got a tang to it. You bite into it, it's like you're like the otter that bit into the wrong
You're biting
sandwich,
your
like,
Miracle... Oh...
Got sandwich in the sandwich.
Oh, all right. I'm like, you better not be just pulling that crap out. You bite ice cream too, you psychopath.
Do you think in Wisconsin we eat Miracle Whip with a spoon?
Yes, I do. This is Wisconsin. I would not put anything past anyone. We fry cheese and call it normal. I go other places and they call me nuts. Not like the Buckeye.
Nuts.
Yeah, there we go.
They call you Buckeye.
They call me yeah, they're just synonymous now. You don't like Miracle Whip.
Oh, it's gross.
How much would I have to pay you to have like a spoonful of it? 100?
$10. Oh, I'll keep it cheap. $10. You're a poor college kid.
All right.
Always looking to make money. I'm always looking to make money.
Okay. No Miracle Whip for Johnny. Okay. If I like snuck it in a sandwich, would you notice? Like just a tiny bit?
I would instantly notice.
The spice,
I would immediately like turn my head. Yeah, the tang in it. I would immediately turn my head at you and slap you.
With the Miracle Whip?
With the bread, with the Miracle Whip on it.
Are you nuts? I'll stop.
Buckeyes. He's amazed that he didn't. I can't believe you didn't know that.
Any chance they beat him, by the way? The Badgers? I mean,
if we run the ball, if we push the ball, do the clogged toilet at the girlfriend's house kind of offense.
Same story, different day, right?
Yep. I mean, you can't flush it. You just keep shoving things through there. It's not going to break through, and just try to walk out silently. Just try to get out of there as quietly as you can.
Your analogies just kill me.
And then your girlfriend texts you 2 hours later. Did you clog my toilet? And you're like, oh. Where'd you go? Or where'd you go? It's 10 minutes later and you don't answer your phone because you're driving off. You get home, finally settled, and you're like, yep.
Did this happen? Did this happen?
Oh, this didn't happen to me. But...
Okay, it's getting real specific. This is kind of like the Chandler Brindley story. That one was true.
That one's 100% true.
Okay. All right.
This one is not. I haven't clogged. If I did, I would admit it. I would have the nerve to admit it.
Good Samaritan, you. All right.
All right. Oh, that'll just about wrap up.
That's how we're gonna end it. Okay.
That's right. Clogged toilet. What do you want to end on?
No, that's good. That's perfect.
Okay, clogged toilets at the girlfriend's house. Cory learning that the Buckeyes are a nut. And lastly, Chandler Brindley, use the bathroom before you go on a road trip. That'll just about do it for Across Enemy Lines. Johnny Samp and Cory Sparks. It's been a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you can get all the latest contents. And go Pack and the Bears.
Bear down, bear down, bear down, bear down.